What's up guys, today I've got my hands on a brand new Windows handheld PC featuring one of the most powerful NPUs by AMD that we've tested on the channel so far. So allow me to introduce you to the OneXFly F1 Pro. Roll the intro. So this is a new gaming handheld PC featuring a brand new processor, upgraded OLED display, 144Hz refresh rate and lots more. So quite excited to see how this thing performs. But first of all, inside the box you will find a user manual, a braided Type-C to Type-C cable. We have a power supply, and I'll give you the close-up of the voltage info, and that is a 65 watt fast charger. Now, design-wise, this is quite similar to the previous generation OneXFly handhelds. We have an ergonomic design with rounded hand grips on the back. The console is made from a soft touch material with a matte finish. We have dual joysticks with built-in RGBs. We also have some RGBs in the corners, and it says F1 Pro on one side, and on the other side it says OneXFly. You can see we have the XYBA layout with D-pad, select, start buttons, home button, keyboard and turbo button. Up on top we have Hall effect linear triggers, LT and RT. We also have our LB and RB shoulder buttons, and just in between the shoulder buttons you can see we have two more customizable buttons, which are M1 and M2, and you can program those buttons to pretty much any action you like from within settings. Furthermore, we have a power button, volume control, headphone jack, USB 4 Type-C port which also supports display out and fast charging, and we have a full-size USB-A 3.0 port. At the bottom we have another Type-C USB 4 port which also supports display out and fast charging, and next to it we have a MicroSD expansion slot. Also you can see we have stereo speaker grills, and they are bottom firing speakers. Now let's talk about the display. You have a 7-inch OLED display that's Full HD 1920 by 1080 with 144Hz refresh and 152% sRGB color space. The screen has 800 nits of peak brightness, and it is a very responsive touchscreen display. Performance-wise, the OneXFly is powered by the AMD Ryzen AI 9HX370. So this has 12 cores, 24 threads, running on the Zen 5 architecture, and it's a 4nm APU clocked at 3.3 GHz base and up to 5.1 GHz turbo. For graphics, you have the integrated AMD Radeon 890M. RAM and storage, we have 32 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM, and 64 gig option is available if you need it. Storage wise, this comes with 1TB of M.2 SSD PCIe 4.0 storage. You can also pick this up in a 2 or 4TB version if needed. There is also MicroSD 4.0 expansion. And in case you're wondering, you do get Windows 11 Home pre-installed, activated and ready to go. Now the OneXFly software is also well supported, so expect plenty of updates, and I believe I've already done a few updates already, so they are constantly updating and improving the UI that comes with this. Okay, now let me talk about the OneXFly Overlay. Every time you press the turbo button, it will bring up the OneX console overlay, which is very useful. It lets you customize things on the fly. You can tweak the TDP from 4 watts to 30 watts. Fan speed can be adjusted, or you can leave it on automatic so it can adjust itself as required. The vibration intensity can be adjusted or even switched totally off. You can also immediately change the screen resolution to achieve better performance in certain games. You can adjust the RGB lights, and there are many presets to choose from. Also switch off the RGBs whenever you like by pressing the Y button after making an RGB selection. And if you want to cycle through the presets, there is a shortcut for it. Press the home button and the volume down button at the same time. You'll be able to cycle through all the RGB presets. Now over here you can see you've got slider for brightness and volume control, and right at the bottom you have a small memory logo. Press it and it will immediately free up some memory. And at any point, if you long press the turbo button, it will bring up a game library interface with all your currently installed games on one page, so you can launch games more conveniently from here. Now there are other options and settings and features that you can play around with. You can do things like map the controls, the buttons, the joystick sensitivity, and lots more. So there's a lot to play around with here, and it's very useful. Now on the back you can see a large fan intake grill, and on top you can see there is an exhaust to dissipate that heat. Now the dimensions are as follows. Now the unit is 26.3 centimeters in width, it's 9.8 centimeters in height, and in thickness it's 2.2 centimeters, and this thing weighs around 599 grams. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and play a whole bunch of games, and let me show you what this thing can do. So first up, we're playing GTA 5, 1080p, 144Hz, TDP 30 watts, and we're achieving a comfortable 73 frames per second average. And just to test that performance, I switched the TDP down to 10 watts, and you can see we're still achieving a comfortable 33 frames per second average. And I think the sweet point for GTA 5 is TDP 12 watts, giving you a 52 frames per second average. So next up, playing Fortnite, epic graphics, 1080p, 144Hz, and TDP maxed out to 30 watts. And you can see we're achieving pretty decent frame rates there, 80 frames per second average. Okay, so leaving everything else the same and switching the TDP down to 20 watts, you can see we're still achieving a comfortable 70 frames per second average. So this time around, TDP has been switched down to 10 watts, and you can see we're still achieving around 37 frames per second average. And don't forget, the graphics are maxed out to epic, 1080p, 144Hz, and we're still achieving decent frame rates. Can you imagine if you switch the graphics down and change the screen refresh rate to 60Hz, you could achieve impressive battery life and TDP performance. Okay, so I'm not expecting it to do well here, but I'm dropping it down to the lowest 4 watt TDP setting. And strangely enough, it's still playable at an average of 20 frames per second. Not ideal, but at epic graphics and 144Hz refresh, that is actually quite remarkable. Alright, switching it back to maximum TDP to achieve the maximum frame rate. This game looks and plays stunning on this console. Alright, so WWE 2K24, we've got it maxed out graphics, 1080p, 144Hz refresh, and the TDP is maxed out to 30 watts, comfortable 60 frames per second.
This is a man who maneuvered his way.
So what would happen if we switch down the TDP to 20 watts? Well, then you're still going to achieve 60 frames per second, plenty of power and performance to enjoy this game at 20 watts.
Veteran instincts from Triple H.
And the lowest I would consider for this game is 14 watt TDP. Based on the graphics all maxed out, we're still getting a comfortable 59 frames per second.
Any more hits in it. The game with the double underhook. Here we go.
Now if you were to leave all the settings the same and switch the TDP down to 10 watts, that is when the game's going to struggle at 42 frames per second, but it is a very laggy experience. Now A Plague Tale is a very graphically intense game, and the graphics are not maxed out. We have it on very high, we don't have it on ultra, 1080p resolution, TDP maxed out to 30 watts, and you can see we're achieving 34 frames per second average. And at these high settings, if you were to take the TDP down to 20 watts, then you're going to achieve just under 30 frames per second average. Alright, so time to test out Black Myth WuKong. Graphics maxed out to Ultra, 1080p, and you can see the TDP is at 30 watts, achieving 25 frames per second average. Now considering this game is so graphically intense, I went and switched the graphics down to medium, leaving it at 1080p and TDP maxed out at 30 watts, and you can see we've got that frame rate up to 52 frames per second average, which is indeed much better. So I thought I'd give Call of Duty Cold War a quick test. Graphics set to high, 1080p, 144Hz, and TDP maxed out at 30 watts. And you can see we're achieving around 58 frames per second. It's a pretty decent performance. Okay, so emulation time, and one of the most difficult to emulate has to be PS3. We're playing Fight Night Champion, one of my favorite games on PS3. I have upscaled to 1080p resolution, TDP maxed out at 30 watts, and you can see we're achieving a comfortable 30 frames per second average. And I also tested if you can play the game at 20 watts, and as you can see, we're still getting that comfortable 30 frames per second average.
Putting punches together, but you work on this on moments when you're in trouble and when you have to survive.
Here's one for you now, he said.
I felt confident, so I dropped the TDP down to 10 watts, and now you can see the game's actually struggling. It's now playing at slow motion speed. I think the sweet point for this game has to be 15 watt TDP. That's the lowest you can go to still achieve that 30 frames per second.
And he just got, there it is! Oh my, what a shot! Joe Frazier's down.
So there you have it, guys. That was the OneXFly F1 Pro. This is, without a doubt, the most powerful Windows handheld we have tested on the channel so far. The AMD HX370 offers a superb gaming performance. You can play literally any AAA game on this handheld, and most of them can play at 60 frames per second and on the highest graphical settings and at 1080p resolution. Now, another amazing thing about this console is the power efficiency. You can tweak the TDP from 4 watts to 30 watts. I was able to play some of my favorite games at 15 watt TDP and less and still achieve close to 60 frames per second, which means lower power consumption, better battery life, and longer gameplay on the go. The OLED display is bright and beautiful. I absolutely love the connectivity options available, including the extra USB ports, and you get 2 USB 4 ports. Yes, this handheld does also support external graphic cards. Battery life is as expected in these type of Windows handhelds, so you can achieve just over 2 hours of battery life when playing at 15 watts and around 1 hour of battery life when playing on maximum TDP 30 watts. Speaker quality is top notch, impressive sound quality, loud and clear, and very immersive. Furthermore, I did not experience any overheating issues or instabilities. Everything worked as it should. This might possibly be one of the best gaming handhelds that I've tested on this channel so far in 2025. So that concludes this video, and I hope you found it useful. If you want to see more of my latest and greatest unbiased tech reviews, hit the like button, sub to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.